Hi everyone, my name is Hayssam, so I'm the CTO of Displayce. And just a quick lightning talk where I wanted to present to you what we are doing with ClickHouse. So it's not really a technical presentation, more like from a user perspective. And I had some inspiration about the title, like something like using modern data warehouse, blah, blah, blah. But I mostly prefer the second one, ClickHouse, it just works. And this is maybe the main message that I want to convey tonight. We are working in a small market, which is starting to get huge, called digital out of home. So those are all those digital billboards and digital screens that you can start seeing on the roadside, in shopping malls, in airports, and those screens are online. And I love things that are online because I can program them. I can buy advertisements when I want to buy it, and I can buy advertisements in a very smart way. And this is what yields what we call programmatic digital out of home, which means that, for example, you can buy an ad if you are Renault when there are people in front of the red lights. And then you can measure if people that were in front of the billboard actually went to the dealership, meaning that you can measure some kind of return of investment about your ad. Similarly, you can broadcast some ads in shopping malls where your product is available and stop broadcasting it as soon as it's out of stock. And finally, you can also broadcast an ad 30 minutes before some flights are actually arriving at the airports, accounting for delays in real time because you want to target a specific audience. And this is a huge market because all those screens have been online for now something like 6 years. So we are just starting to use them. And this is why it's so interesting. In this market, we have what we call a demand-side platform. So we are between the advertiser, the one who wants to display the ad, and the publisher, the one that owns the screen. And between those two, what we're doing is that we're optimizing the campaign for the advertiser so that he can reach its objectives. And by doing so, we managed somehow to become the #1 DOOH DSP in France, and we're working with all the big agencies and trading desks in Europe today. Our core value proposition, and it's important to understand because this is why we use ClickHouse, is that we want to make digital out of home accessible, easy to use. Basically, click and drag, beam, you're online, you can broadcast. Safe, because you don't want to broadcast in a place where it's not the good environment for your brand. For example, some window shops are not really fit for perfume, while others might be good for fast food, if you see what I mean. You will not broadcast in front of McDonald's if you want to sell Chanel, but maybe in some airports, that will be the nice one. And finally, accountable, because as soon as you broadcast somewhere, you will pay for it and you will be able to measure how many people were in front of the screen and what people did after they saw the ad. Our main goal is that we want to bring digital out of home on par with what you can do with online advertising on the web, search, social networks, and maybe eventually to combine everything in the same way. To do so, we have 4 pillars. First one is inventory. So we provide our user with 654,000 frames in the world. So basically with a click, you can broadcast on all those frames anywhere in the world, covering 100+ environments, taxi, roadsides, gyms, things like that, over 65 countries, okay? And people can actually go on our platform, which is self-hosted, and can drill down and navigate in all this inventory with instant results. Second one is that they can then target some screens by, for example, selecting that they want to broadcast across Belgium, specifically around those points, specifically at this time of the hour, specifically with targeting people that are Fitbit users, and only broadcast when the temperature is above 4 degrees. And as soon as they selected all of this, they get instantly a forecast, meaning, hey, you will be able to buy as many plays and impressions to reach as many people for this amount of money. And as soon as they change anything on this place, they get an instant result for their forecast, meaning that they can perform very precise media planning on digital screens that are in the real world, something that was not possible and that was only offered on digital web online advertising. Monitoring, as soon as they start buying, they will get instant dashboards, giving them very precise KPIs about how their campaign is performing. Did they manage to spend their budget? Exactly where, at what time, how many people were in front of the screen, etc., etc. And they can also drill down through all these reports down to the impression level, meaning that they can see exactly for a given frame at a given second when it was bought, for how much, and how many people were in front of it. I don't know if you notice it, but I pronounced the word instant, I think something like 10 times since the beginning. And I think that you can guess that behind all of this, we use ClickHouse a lot. To give you an overview about what we're doing, basically, we are combining 4 different data feeds. The most important one is what we call the real-time bidding stream. Each and every of these 600,000 frames is actually contacting and pinging our servers once every 10 seconds, saying, hey, do you want to broadcast something? And then again, 10 seconds after. And for that, they all just receive an answer in less than 100 milliseconds. This is the time that we are allowed to make the decision. Then we have the inventory stream. That is, where are the screens, what are the environments, and what you can do on them. And then you have the live feed, which is mobile devices. We have partnerships, and if you have some specific application of specific privacy settings on your phone, each time that you are going inside a shop or around a specific screen, you will be pinging our servers as well. And it's GDPR friendly. And finally, we've got the targeting setup, which is basically what our users actually ask for. Hey, did they do targeting in Belgium, et cetera, et cetera. And our goal is to combine everything so that they can get live reporting, building very complex data cubes that they can then use to drill down and see how a campaign performed. And our goal is that everything here is combined and reported in quasi real time with very low latency for our users. And to do so, we're using ClickHouse, and we're actually using ClickHouse everywhere. So the real-time bidding stream, this is also called the click stream. So we are going to monitor each impression that was offered and that we bought, and we're going to do a lot of aggregation and joins on this. For the frames, we're going to perform some geospatial analysis, data cleansing and blending. Where are the frames? What can I learn about their vicinity, etc. For the targeting setups, this is a very low volume because we don't have 10,000 of users per second. We only have some campaigns running, but it is extremely complex. It's a very wide table. And finally, the live feed, the mobile device one, it's a very narrow table, but with very high volume and very high velocity. And we want to combine everything so that we can provide with accurate reports. Just a side note, we are hosting everything ourselves on our own server. It's a single instance. What I've provided is, I think, 38 gigabytes of RAMs. And just to give you an idea, I've been using ClickHouse for 3 years now, something like that. And I think that once we had a downtime, and it was my fault because I just forgot something in the configuration file. ClickHouse is extremely robust, and this is why we decided to use this as much as possible in our company. Some technical details about what we do with ClickHouse. There's a lot of defining features that I've only found in ClickHouse, and I'm happy to find them because that actually saved my job several times. For example, the complex array aggregation and data types. I think that Florian mentioned that before. This is something that we use a lot. We're actually trying the new JSON data type because that can be useful for our clickstream. Something that I love is the column-based TTL. It's awesome. You can define a time to live for a specific column, and then after a while, some values of this column will be deleted, and you will gain a huge compression factor. I have a column called UUID. Well, that's basically the unique identifier of an impression. I want to keep this for 2 months, but I also want to keep every other meta information about the impression. But for this meta information, the compression factor is very high, while for the UUID, it's 0 because it's unique. After 2 months, I just have a TTL on the UUID, and then boom, I've just saved myself several terabytes of hard space. Another thing that I love is the aggregating merge tree. Basically, as soon as you ingest something in ClickHouse, you are going to perform a real-time aggregation, and that's it. You are not going to store any temporary rows or things like that. You're just going to sum, aggregate, count unique and things like that in real time, and you will get instantly the result of the aggregation. Another cool thing that I love is the PostgreSQL engine. So basically ClickHouse is connected to Postgre, and this is how we are actually fetching what our users are doing on our platform, because ClickHouse is not transactional. We need transactions. So this is handled by Postgre, and we don't have to push data from Postgre to ClickHouse, because ClickHouse is just connected to Postgre, and this is just how we use it, by joining a ClickHouse table with a PostgreSQL table. As simple as that. Select star from ClickHouse table, join Postgre table, and it works. Another cool thing is that we love integrations. Really, really, we love integration. And what is actually awesome, I think, in ClickHouse is that it is using standards. By standard thing, I mean a MySQL interface means that there's a huge ecosystem of tools that can be used with ClickHouse out of the box with zero configuration. And this is what we use to mostly build our reporting stack. We have the Go driver, which was working, that is listening to a Redis stream. And as soon as some of the event arrive in the Redis stream, we push it immediately in ClickHouse. And it works with a throughput of something like 200,000 events per second without a glitch. We have our connection to our S3 buckets. We do in-memory analytics using custom Python script, and we just push this in ClickHouse using the Python asynchronous ClickHouse driver, and it just works. And finally, this is something that we just did very recently. We're using dbt, a now awesome tool for data warehousing, to build very complex business-oriented views on top of our ClickHouse tables. And all of this is pushed through 3 different reporting layers. One is Metabase, a very good dashboarding solution. The other one is Cube, which is a headless BI solution. And the last one is all our APIs, mostly built with Faced API, that are going to fetch data in real time in our ClickHouse and provide that to our users. In summary, ClickHouse is actually playing a central role now at Displayce, because it will receive data from everywhere, join that as much as possible with a lot of data coming from external sources, and providing all of this in a very unified fashion through 3 different reporting layers that just works. Thanks a lot. I cannot end a talk without mentioning that we are hiring as hell. We're a very, agile and small team in Bordeaux. We are like 20 persons. 50% of them are technical people like me. 10 persons working with ClickHouse, with Go, Python, data engineering, data analysis. We have a lot of fun with our own infrastructure built with Nomad and Console. So if you want to have fun with ClickHouse, with big data, with marketing, maybe we can have a quick chat after that. Thanks a lot.